Are you wanting 2026 to be better than 2025? Maybe you want more money in 2026, more money coming through your business or your job, or maybe you want your relationship to be more intimate, or maybe you want more progress in your spiritual growth, more progress towards being awake, enlightened. Whatever it is that you're wanting to be better, Archangel Gabriel wants to help give you some guidance on how you can have that in the new year. And besides just how you can have it, he's going to give an overall kind of message to all of you. And he's going to open it up for questions later. So if you want to ask a critical question of something maybe that you've had challenges with in your life, that you want to get some higher consciousness guidance from, Archangel Gabriel wants to give that to you. So if you get on, you please give a shout out, give your name, shout out where you're from, because that's always helpful. Because one of the key words that Archangel Gabriel said, if you want your 2026 to be better than 2025, whatever that better is, and he's saying whatever you haven't been that happy with or satisfied with, obviously you want that to be improved, right? He's saying the word is preparation. And we're going to go into that more as we get into this time with Archangel Gabriel and the flying horse. But first we're going to invoke his energy, because it is always about how to recreate that sacred space. So hi, I'm Deepa Lou. I call myself the Creative Mystic, and it's all about helping you as a spiritual seeker, a mystic, a creative person. How do you actually create sacred space in your home? How do you create sacred space, most importantly, within yourself, so that you can have the spiritual growth that you desire, that you can have the success in your life that you want, and have an actual life that you love. Because it really is about that progress towards loving your life, loving yourself, and having that growth, that spiritual awakening that you desire as that mystic, that spiritual seeker. Okay? So we're going to start with ringing the bell. Ringing this bell and inviting in Archangel Gabriel. So as I ring this bell, I want you to say, hello, Archangel Gabriel. Hello, the flying horse. And it's about welcoming that energy into not only my space here, my sacred art studio, but into your space, okay? Into your space, not only physically, the physical space, but also your inner space, so that you are more receptive to the guidance from Archangel Gabriel. Because part of what helps you have transformation, which if you're wanting it to be better, you want some kind of transformation, right? And that transformation for something to be better, Archangel Gabriel's kind of giving me some things already, that it has to start with transformation within you. So let's get going about invoking in Archangel Gabriel, and then we're going to get to his overall intuitive guidance that he wants to give you for the coming year, and then we're going to open it up for questions. Now, in all that, I may paint, because if all of a sudden Archangel Gabriel says to go paint, I'm going to paint, and often sometimes things come through as I'm doing it. But that doesn't mean we won't be opening it up for questions, okay? So the questions will be coming after the overall message. All right, so let's invoke in Archangel Gabriel. Say hello, Archangel Gabriel. Hello, the flying horse. We welcome their energy, their blessings, their guidance into our physical space and into our inner space. We ask that our hearts and minds be open and receptive to all the guidance, all the blessings, and especially the transformation. And as you listen to the bell ringing, just allow the vibration and energy and blessings from Archangel Gabriel to penetrate every fiber of your being. All right, and just say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for that blessing. And we're going to open up with lighting the ghee lamp and clearing the energy with the Palo Santo. Okay. And he's kind of guiding me. Usually I start with clearing the energy at the spirit guide portal, and he's guiding me to send this energy through the ethers, through the camera, just bringing in this energy of the Palo Santo smoke. And even though you may not be able to smell it, the Palo Santo fragrance, inviting it into your space, imagining, knowing that it can come through the ethers. All right, welcome in that Palo Santo that cleanses your energy, cleanses the energy of the space, and also invites in the space of Archangel Gabriel and the space of the Spirit Guide Portal. Because Archangel Gabriel has come with the Spirit Guide because he wants people to understand no matter how spiritually high you are, that everybody, person, not a person, the spirit, can use support. There we go. All right, so we clean our own energies. I clean your energy. All right, we're going to start with a prayer. And thank you for everybody who's put a little comment up there. All right, so let's start with the couple of Sanskrit chants I do, just bringing in the energy of higher consciousness, of spirit, specifically Archangel Gabriel on the flying horse. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandham Pushtivardhanam Urvarekabandhanat Mricho Mokshamamritat. Om Bhavaha Om Swaha Om Maha Om Janaha Om Tapaha Om Satyam Om Tatsavitur Vadinyam Bhargo Devasya Dimahi Diyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om. And just do 3 ohms into your space, welcoming it, infusing it into this spirit guide portal, but also into your own spirit. Om. 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 So Archangel Gabriel is coming in, and he's really said about earlier about how the word is preparation. That if you want your 2026 to be better than your 2024, you have to actually prepare. Now, what is that preparation? And that's what he wants to talk to you about, because he's wanting me to share with you one of the things that you need to prepare for is your environment, okay? Your outer environment. Is it actually supportive to the changes that you want to see differently in your life? So whatever that change is, you get to think for a moment. He's saying, take a moment to check in with yourself and go, what do I really want to see improved upon from 2025 to 2026? Okay? Is it possibly I want to manifest more money in my life? Or is it I want more spiritual growth where I have the level of maybe inner peace that I desire, or inner joy that I want, or maybe just the ability to have more spiritual gifts to come forth in your life, because you may think you don't have a lot, but I will guarantee you, you have more than you think you have, because I was a non-visual person for most of my life, and then 10 years ago, I started becoming visual. So through the process of bringing creativity and spirituality together. So think about what that is. Because in order for you to have that 2026 to be the success you want it to be the abundant year that you want it to have maybe the better relationship you want, whatever it is, okay, you have to have some intention with it and have thought it through. You can't just start the year off and go, oh, well, whatever, it's whatever happens, happens, okay? Now, the people who say, oh, whatever happens, happens is because they don't want to be disappointed usually. They don't want to get frustrated with maybe what they were trying to manifest didn't manifest. But he's saying you want to have intent. So think about what area of your life that you'd really like to see improved. And if it's more than one area, that's fine. You know, don't just say everything though. Be specific. I want a raise. I want a career. I want a business that manifests XYZ number of dollars every month. Whatever that is, okay? Maybe it's your relationship. I want more intimacy in my relationship. I want us to feel more connected, you know, and that could be a friendship relationship or your significant other, whatever that is. But think about that for a minute. He's saying about really think about that. Now, if you don't have time to think about it and figure it out now, that's okay. Write down that question and do it later, okay? But he's saying, in order for you to have 2026 be better than 2025, you have to consciously reflect on your life and go, what would I like to see improved? Might be your health. I want improved health. Whatever that is, but pick something, he's saying. And then after you pick that thing, you have to go, oh, okay, well, what do I need in place so that that can get improved? Now, he's telling me to give the example of improved health. So let's just say you want improved health. Okay, maybe you want to lose weight, or maybe you want to have better conditioning where you're in shape better, that you can actually go do more physical things. What needs to be in place for that? So if you want to be in shape better, if you want to have better health, you want to have, let's say, excellent health, there's many different things you have to look at, right? You have to look at maybe what you're eating. I have to change my diet. Or maybe it's about adding movement. And you notice I didn't say exercise. He's saying movement, not exercise. He's saying movement is actually always important, even if you don't want optimal health. But you look at those things and go, okay, if I want to be healthy, what has to be in place for me to do that? So it could be that you have to get your partner on board to say, can you be supportive to me in that I want to get healthier? Can you be supportive to me in that I want to maybe bringing different foods into our home? So you start to create an environment that supports the end in mind. Now, if yours isn't health and it's, gee, I want to have, you know, a promotion in my career, you do that same thing, but then within the context of your job. Or if you're wanting your own business, how can I improve my business? What needs to be in place? So he's saying preparation. If you want 2026 to be better than 2024, you actually want to start preparing now. And that preparation is what we're talking about today is, one, reflect on your life and go, what would I like to see improved upon? What do I want to see better? And then two, what do I really need in place for that to change? Okay, so he wants you to think about the environmental changes outside, like in your home or wherever you go that you want to see this change, but also your inner environment, what needs to change, the inner landscape of your thinking, of your habitual way of doing things. Now, the habitual way of how you do things, he says, is based on your habitual patterns in your belief systems. So what needs to change in your belief system, in your self-talk, he's saying, of how you talk to yourself on a daily basis within your own head. So he's saying you may have to become aware of what that self-talk is. Now, he says if you've been on the spiritual path a long time, you probably are aware of your self-talk. But if you're new to the spiritual path, you may not know what self-talk is going off in your head, other than maybe when you're beating yourself up, you know. But he's saying that you have to start to become aware, highly aware of the self-talk you're having basically all the time. And notice the habitual ones, the patterns that you're seeing. So it could be maybe you've been taught to maybe not complain outwardly, but you complain inwardly in your head. Now, if you complain outwardly, you are complaining inwardly. you know, it also could be that he's saying, if you maybe just have a habit of like worry, like you don't maybe say anything outwardly, or a habit of frustration, but you may not show it outwardly, you want to look at those patterns and go, what do I need to do to change my inner landscape? And he's saying what needs to happen is two things, okay? He's saying one is you have to start to acknowledge what needs to be healed. So rather than judging yourself or getting critical for another person, or judging yourself or judging another person, acknowledge that there's a part of you that does it because it's trying to keep yourself safe. That maybe when you were young, things happened that made you develop this belief in judging and criticizing. Okay? Or maybe you grew up in a household where there was a lot of judgment and criticism, and then obviously you would get programmed with that. So it's like, okay, maybe I grew up with that, but maybe I don't want that now. So maybe I'm willing to start to change that inner landscape. Now, he knows this is easy to say and hard to do, okay? But he's recommending that you make the effort to start to become aware of it. Now, he's saying even more, if you can get support, like another person to help you, to get your spirit guides to help you, that's going to even be better. So thank you for people sharing. I'm not sure what the tic-tac-shar is. I have no idea what that is, so I can't help you there because I don't know what you're referring to. Oh, Becky Lynn, yeah, I don't know what a tic-tac-shar is, but you said I need this. I'm hoping you're talking about the message. But so he's saying, let's go back to what he was saying. He was saying that you really need to get the support. So, and part of it is that when you have this programming, this habitual way of maybe criticizing yourself, judging yourself, or worrying, those kinds of things that are more downward pulling than uplifting, okay? That's when spirit can really help you. That's one of the reasons why I do these spirit guide portals, is that they come through with higher consciousness. And that's Archangel Gabriel. He always wants to give you the higher consciousness perspective, because whenever you get triggered into worry, anxiety, frustration, it means you're in your subconscious mind, and it's hard to really get out of it and to have a different result. So if your habit is to worry, to criticize and judge, you would want to make that one of your inner environmental changes if you want 2026 to be better than 2025. Now, he said, than just saying better, it's better if you actually say what you want to be better. So money's really easy, okay? If you make $100,000 a year and you want to make 150 or 200, that's pretty simple, okay? Optimal health is a little harder sometimes to know, right? It could be if you're ill, they're saying all of a sudden, okay, you're always healthy, and maybe you'll know that. But the inner landscape is something that a lot of people don't even know they're doing, and so he's recommending that as the very thing that you want to look at in preparing for 2026. Now, he says you don't want to wait till 2026 starts. You actually want to start now. And one of the things that he says you want to think about, like right now we're in December, and a lot of people celebrate Christmas. Not everybody does. But even if you don't celebrate Christmas, there's this energy of the Christ consciousness. Now, if you're Christian, they talk about Jesus Christ, as this man. And yes, Jesus Christ was a man. And the idea of Jesus Christ, a man, carried this Christ consciousness energy. And every one of you who's watching this has that too, that Christ consciousness energy. But how do you awaken it so it comes forth? And that's part of the preparation that Archangel Gabriel is talking about, is that you have to start to go, I want to come from higher consciousness, Christ consciousness. Okay? Because if you keep coming from the subconscious programming, you're never going to make your 2026 better than 2025. Okay? So that's what he's telling me so far. Thank you for everybody who shared some comments. He's telling me to go paint. More is going to come through. And then in a little while, he's going to open it up for questions. But he's wanting me to start painting on him. He's wanting me to share with you also this last thing before I get going on painting. That 3 of the things you want to have, too, is having the right energy. Because everything is energy. Now, when you hear the word right, that could mean almost anything, right? But when he says right, he's talking about an uplifted energy. Hi, Prashal. I don't remember your sign-in, but I'm so glad you're here. So he's talking about having an uplifted energy, something where you feel joyful, maybe you feel inner peace, maybe you feel love. You know, those are all the more higher consciousness emotions and energy and feelings. So you want to be in that energy if you can be, okay? You want to have the right intention. Now again, right intention, what does that mean? The intention that you make is so important, and you want to start having that intention, he's saying, every single morning. Like you get up and every morning you go, what is my intention of who I want to be, what I want to do, what I want to have? Be, do, and have. But have that clear intention in the morning when you come up, okay? And you have the intention, you make the intention in the morning, and he's saying you want to have the right focus throughout your day. That will make a difference, okay? So because you can have an intention, and then what happens for a lot of people is they make an intention at the beginning of something. And what happens? Life happens, and their focus now is over here instead of over here, instead of on point with what the intention was. Okay, this is Archangel Gabriel. It's almost done. It's not done yet. We're going to work on it, hopefully, maybe finish it today. I would love it if we could finish it for the new year. I have some things I'm working on that I'm going to, that since you asked, Prasha, I don't know if I've been guided to do this one here on YouTube, but oh, good, Prasha. This is, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of lightly drawn on there. It was a Mother Mary I saw with a light. This is the next one I'm going to be starting. You can't really see it there because it's just lightly drawn on there. I haven't decided if I want to make Mother Mary bigger or not. And it's going to have a light and blessing you. That's going to be the next one if you want to keep tuning in. I don't know if I'm going to do it on the live, but if I get guided to, I will. So, yeah, I remember that about Paramahansa Yogananda. And I'm glad that you read Autobiography of Yogi and that you loved it. That's great. So, yeah, I love that book. I've read it several times, 4 or 5 times. Because when you read it over, you're just like, yeah, another little aha comes from reading it. So, oh, thank you, Prashal. Yes, it's interesting that you said healing energy coming from it, because this is Mother Mary. That I've done a Mother Mary blessing the world similar to this one, but this is Mother Mary like blessing you with healing energy. I saw her all in this green healing energy light, and so that's so funny. You're very intuitive, so I love that you noticed that already. But yeah, I haven't started yet, other than a little bit of the sketch, and it is going to be my next big portal that I do. I do small ones that I don't actually video. So anyway, let's get to Archangel Gabriel and see what they have to say as far as when I'm painting. And feel free to pop up your questions if you have a question, because he's definitely going to answer questions here. He wanted to let you ask questions about anything that's going to help you with preparing for your new year. Because remember, he said earlier that if you want your 2026 to be better than 2025, you have to prepare. Preparation is the word, he says. And so if you want to prepare, hello from Belgium. Thanks for showing up again. So he's saying if you really want to start preparing, you want to, again, do that self-reflection that we talked about earlier. Right? Self-reflect on your life of what you want to be improved from 2025 to 2026. And take that moment to self-reflect on it. And then really look at what you need to put in place in your environment, inwardly and outwardly. And if you didn't hear what he said, you can always watch the beginning again later, because he gave an intuitive message about what some things you need to put in place. But you guys can start putting up some questions. I want to get to the questions. I'll go lead through the comments and see what they were. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put them up. Shira, she speaks. I recognize you, yes. So yes, I'm so glad some of you have come back today. So Archangel Gabriel is going to answer questions here in a bit. But he wants me to paint some before I get to the question part. So one of the things, as I'm sitting here mixing the paint, the flying horse is actually coming in and saying, "Don't forget me," which is kind of funny. He's saying, "Don't forget that support is one of the most important things in making change." And he's saying that's why he's here in this portal with Archangel Gabriel, because even though Archangel Gabriel has his own wings and can fly himself, when they work together as a team, it becomes easier for both of them. So he's saying that he's in this portal because he wants people to understand the importance of support, that you get support. All right, Prisha, I want to get to the questions. I will ask that because I don't think you're alone on that question. And that's the thing about this. When you're on here listening, to the guidance that Archangel Gabriel is giving, even if you didn't ask the question, pay attention to if it resonates with you. Because the thing about when you come to group types of settings, like I work with people individually in mentoring programs, and that's specific to them. But when you do group types of things, often someone will ask a question and it will still resonate with you. And that means that even though you didn't ask it, you still will get benefit from the guidance. So you always want to pay attention to when the guidance is happening. Do you feel like, that resonates with me? And I feel like that is something that's true for me too. Or even in the question, you see the question and you go, oh, I do that. Or I have that challenge. So Archangel Gabriel's wanting me to relay that to you, because he's saying that there's a reason why he wanted me to do this like in a group setting, was that he wanted people to start to understand the benefit of getting support. And also the benefit of synergy. Like when you're in groups of people, the group together provides a blessing. It's one of the reasons why I'm going to be launching a membership, and I was hoping to launch it at the end of this year, but it's going to be at the beginning of next year. That we really are going to focus on the 4 pillars of the path of awakening. And that's partly why Archangel Gabriel started talking about preparation, was that, people tend to want things to improve and to change, but they don't always want to prepare. He's really saying that word preparation. If you want to really see your 2026 vastly improve, he's saying, over 2025, you have to be willing to prepare. So even if 2026 starts and you haven't quite done everything you would have liked to have done to prepare, don't give up. Still prepare. So he's talking about even in your day. If you want to have a more intentful life where you see yourself leading yourself to your desired goals that you have, the desired improvements you want, to prepare the night before. Think about the next day, the night before, and go, I really want to see or have the intent tomorrow of whatever it is, X, Y, Z, and put a few minutes in of time for that preparation. So, Archangel Gabriel saying, since those of you who are on, at the beginning, because I don't know if you were on, but if you didn't hear it, he said to take a moment to check in with yourself and really look at what you'd like to see improved upon. So he's saying if you're on here waiting to get your questions answered, take that moment. Take that moment to get out a piece of paper or do it in your phone, whatever way works best for you. I'm more of a paper person still. I find, I actually think most people may not do it, but there's something about kinesthetically writing stuff on paper that really makes a difference for the human body. But he's saying write down. Think about your life, reflect on it, and write down what things you'd like improved. Oh, and he's saying to me right now, what's coming up and why you don't think it can be improved, or that have stopped you all this time from making the change yourself on your own. Because he says there's a reason why something isn't the way you want it to be. Whoops, I almost made a mess. It's because, you have a belief that's stopping you. So he wants you to take that moment to think about that. So that way it also can think about that, is there a question I have on that for Archangel Gabriel? Yeah. So he's wanting you that, because he's going to go into questions here in a minute. He wants me to do one other thing on here, and then we're going to lead into probably the questions. And Archangel Gabriel is coming through and saying, now, if you're having problems thinking about what you'd like to see improved between 2025 and 2026, he says, ask yourself if you're being totally honest with yourself. Because he says sometimes we diminish things to ourselves to make it so we don't feel disappointed, that we don't want to have to actually really admit something's not working for ourselves. Because he says the first way you're going to see improvement is to actually get honest with yourself about what's really working and what's really not. And he's saying if you've been frustrated with something or worried about something, he says it's because you've been putting up with something that's not really working for you. He says frustration, worry, anxiety is all based in the fact that you're putting up with something that's not working. You're not being honest with yourself of what you really need for where you are, whatever, in your spiritual development, for where you are in your emotional, mental growth. He's saying you're not being honest. So he's asking you to get honest with yourself. So, gee. All right, let's go back and look at the questions. Because he's coming through now, wants to answer questions that you might have to help you in your 2026. I'm going to go back to here. Okay, so Prashad, you said you want to ask about creative blocks and protecting aura when you are an intuitive artist of any kind. So can you give a little more specific what you're wanting to know? Like, so I can ask Archangel Gabriel what that is? So, because the way I would take that question is that that you're having creative blocks and you feel like you want to have a way to protect your aura, being an intuitive artist, writer, painter. So if I've misinterpreted that, let me know. Put that up here. Okay, and you want to know how to be confident enough to begin to take that first step. Okay, so I'll deal with that one because I know what that one is. But you can write in if you're, hopefully you're still there. Oh, yeah. Okay, so let me check in with him what he says. I actually have my own answer, but I always like to get the answer from Archangel Gabriel. So he's saying the first thing is that when you have, like, if you're sensitive or you're an empath, he's saying like deep as an empath. So that is you really don't want to be fearful of other people's energy. Once you drop into fear, your energy becomes weaker. And he says if you want to actually protect your aura, your own energy, so that you're not taking on other people's energies, you have to actually come from a courageous place, he's saying. You have to come from a place of, what do I need to do to develop strong energy? And so it's he's telling me to tell you about, I do this routine almost every day to keep my energy strong. Now, I've been meaning to make a product out of it for a long time and I haven't done it yet, so I'm just going to show you what I do. I'm going to have to obviously put more in depth into the product when I get it done. But one of the things, you're probably familiar with your 7 chakras that go up your spine, right? It's the astral spine. Okay, and so there's the root chakra, which is at the base of the spine. The second chakra is like kind of right behind the genitalia. The third chakra is around your belly button. Fourth chakra is the heart chakra. Fifth is your throat chakra. The sixth point between the eyebrows, and the seventh at the crown of the head. Okay, so in order to have strong energy, you want to actually help those chakras be strong, because those chakras, what do? They are managing your energy. They can either be strong flowing energy or weak flowing energy. They're always flowing. Some people will say, oh, my chakra's blocked, but it's not really true, because it never ever stops flowing. It's just, is the flow like this, this little peewee thing, or is it, like a dam? A dam might stop it, but you can't really stop it completely. There might be a small leak or a big hole that allows it to come through. So obviously it's not a hole in your chakras, but Archangel Gabriel is saying that he wants me to share with you my system of what I do, okay? So at each of the chakras, I sit and I make the sounds of each chakra. So the root chakra is so I go and I focus my energy at the root chakra. And I do it out loud, at a whisper, and silently. The second chakra is do the same thing. Third chakra is O. Fourth chakra is Fifth chakra is A. Sixth chakra is E. And the seventh chakra is M. So I make those sounds at the chakras to help stimulate and awaken and balance the energies of the chakras. So it's like this. So I would go, for the root chakra, I would focus my energy at the root chakra, and I'd go, So all of you can do this with me if you want, because I'm going to do it quickly. I'm not going to do it quite the way I do when I do it for my own energy, okay? And then I do it at a whisper. And then I do it silently in my mind. Now, I'm going to voice it, but you would just think it in your mind, but at your root chakra. So, and then you move up to the second chakra. Ooh, and focus at that second chakra. And then I whisper it. Ooh. And then in my mind, silently in my mind. Ooh. And then I move up to the third chakra. Oh. I had a whisper. Oh. And then silently. Oh. And then is the heart chakra. Then I had a whisper. And then silently in my mind. Okay. Then fifth chakra. A. Whisper. Silent. A. And then silent in my mind. A. And then the sixth chakra is E. E, and focus energy at the point between the eyebrows. E, and then in a whisper. E, and then silently. And then the crown chakra is and then I do it at a whisper and then silently. Now I do it to the point where I'm taking a full inhale breath, and I do it to the breath is completely like exhaled. So it'd be like and then I do that same thing at a whisper. Is that making sense to everybody? Yes, I do it each time, 3 times. And then I'll actually, after I do each one 3 times, like the out loud, whisper, silently, then I do it all. I take a deep breath in, and I make the sounds for every chakra in one breath. So I'll just give you an example. So it's like, excuse me, I was thinking it through too much. I automatically do it. And then I do that at a whisper. So it's and I move my focus of attention as I change the sound going up the chakras. So I do that again out loud, at a whisper, and then silently. And then I also do what I do at each chakra. Again, I do the Gayatri mantra. So that's more than I could probably do here to show you how to do that. But even if you just start making those sounds, and if you want to, when I finally get this product made, which is my goal is 2026. If you're not on my email list, please get on it. I'll be sending it out to my email list. I probably will do a YouTube video too about it, but that will start to make your energy strong. When I do that, my energy's strong. Then what happens is when other people's energy is not so good, I'm aware that their energy's kind of negative or whatever, but I don't take it on. Okay, so does that make sense, Prashal, about helping you with the energy? Right, that's exactly the seed mantras is exactly what I'm doing is that those are the seed sounds of each chakra that I'm making, and it strengthens the energy. And so when your chakras are strong, you're going to still feel other people's stuff, but you're not going to take it on as your stuff. It'll have less of an effect on you. Now, the other thing that's really important, it's something I'm going to talk about in that product, is one of the biggest things that can make it so your energy goes weak is if you get codependent. Codependency, see, that's a mindset. Codependency is your consciousness, your subconscious mind takes over because you've been programmed with codependency. Because if you were awake in your higher self, you wouldn't be codependent, okay? So when that codependency comes up, you have to catch yourself and go, oh, wait a minute, no, that's not actually my higher self. That's not healthy for me or the other people. So if you get codependent with other people, that will actually start to weaken your energy. Codependency is one of the biggest things that weakens people's energy, okay? So then you also wanted to know, okay, how did you be confident? Let's see. So Archangel Gabriel wants you to get that confidence isn't like something that's going to just poop out of the air and that you're going to all of a sudden be confident. He's saying he wants you to understand that confidence comes from self-love, from believing in yourself, from for some it's practice, like you try things and you see the results, and when you see improvement you'll get more confidence. But he's saying that the true confidence comes when you completely love yourself. So he's wanting you to actually practice self-love, because he's saying the habit, which a lot of people have, of judging themselves, criticizing themselves, worrying about what other people think because they don't think they're good enough, that actually makes it so you're not confident. But that when you love yourself, when you actually really love yourself exactly where you are in your development, rather than judging where you are in your development, and he's talking about your spiritual development, your emotional development, your mental development, wherever it is, when you can actually love yourself exactly where you are, you will start to feel confident. Because confidence comes from loving yourself and knowing that you are fine just as you are. Does that make sense, Prisha? Hopefully that answers your question. If you have another one, let me know, and then I can ask it again. I'm going to look at, there was another question by Lil I want to get. Oh, how can you get new friends? Well, the first thing that he's asking me to ask you is, are you just wanting any kind of, okay, you actually answered, he's saying, do you want any kind of friends, or do you want specific types of friends? And I see you saying deep friendships. So he's asking me to ask you, are you clear on what a deep friendship is for you? And so he wants you to be clear on that for yourself. What is a deep friendship? Is a deep friendship is that you share your problems with another person, or is a deep friendship something where you actually talk about your aspirations of what you desire? So what he's talking about, he's saying that a lot of times people define deep friendships as friendships where you guys commiserate in problems. You talk about the problems that have happened, how something bad happened, and you complain about it. But he said that deep friendship really is about the connection of the heart. And he's like, I can see him like he's telling me to point to my heart. He's saying that a deep friendship is where you have a connection of the heart, that you have a similarity of of what you aspire to be, of what you believe in spiritually. Now he's saying you don't have to be on the same exact spiritual path if you're in a religion, okay? But there has to be like this common belief of like, you're the creator of your reality. So that way, that person can support you in your aspiration of what you are wanting to create in your life. So he's talking about really think about that. What have you considered a deep friendship in the past? Was it bonding on problems and challenges? Or was it about supporting each other in your aspirations? So he's saying one of the ways that you start to make those deep friendships towards your aspirations is that you start to go places that you aspire, that support your higher aspirations, and you will then meet friends that will give you deep friendship on the aspiration side. Is that making sense? Lil, hopefully it is. I actually like what he said for myself because I will say it's true. When I was young, I had friendships and I thought they were deep when I was like the therapist. You know, I grew up in a family where my parents used me as their sounding board, and I grew up thinking that's what I was. And as I got older, I was like, I don't want to be people's therapist. I want to be able to have deep friendships about what we're aspiring. But I never ever even thought about it that way until Archangel Gabriel came through. So let's see what else. Oh, Lil, I'm glad you like the sounds. Oh, thank you for the good luck, Prasha. Let's see. Okay. So, Lil, you said yes. I don't know if there's something I missed. I don't. Oh, okay. It does make sense what I said. Okay. Uh, oh, okay. Yeah. So you have another question, Prasha. Let's say, how do you know what your true soul purpose is? The Dharma of your soul, as they say, and he doesn't was why are we here? One reason I believe is to love all. Well, I agree with you there, Prasad. It is about loving all. And the first and most important love of all that Holy Mary, Mother of Love, told me when she came to me in a vision was self-love. She said the most important love is self-love. Because when you love yourself, you will go out and spread that love, and you won't want to harm another. Because when you love yourself and you start to understand spiritually that we're all one, you don't want to harm another being. And so it's going to help change the energy on the planet. It's going to help change not just energy with you, um, but um, uh, but that it's the most important. So let me ask Archangel Gabriel about the soul purpose. He's saying that the way you start to know your true soul purpose is to start listening to what's true in your heart. So he's saying that your heart chakra, your heart, not necessarily the physical heart, okay, but it's the doorway, it is the window to knowing what is true for you. When you pay attention to, does my heart chakra feel expansive when I think of this, or when I think about something, this particular thing, maybe a little inkling that comes up, or does it feel contractive? Now, what he wants me to explain to all of you guys is that what happens a lot of times, and this is why people don't move forward on their intuitive guidance or the truth that's in their heart, is in the initial feeling that you get of like, this feels like this is something I'm to do, okay? You can feel it feels expansive, all right? But the moment you get out of that higher consciousness, what happens is your subconscious programming comes in and it tells you things like, that's stupid, that's being irresponsible, that costs too much money. And then you doubt it and you put it to the side. Does that make any sense for you guys? That you have to stop that subconscious mind from telling you that your heart is telling you the wrong information. See, the programming takes over, and the biggest program is that happen. Oh, you can't afford that, so people think you can't do it. The question becomes, how can I afford it? If Spirit's telling me, if my heart's telling me this is for me to do, there is a way. And when you can get into that energy, things start to show up. Oh, good. I'm glad it's ringing true for you. Because, yeah, it is. It's so true. So you have to pay attention to the first intuitive feeling, not the second wave of your subconscious mind taking over and trying to talk you out of it. And he's saying to me too, this is why people doubt themselves, is that they get that feeling and the programming comes in and tells them it's silly, it's stupid, you can't afford it, you're not smart enough, but it's not true. See, when you start to be on the path of awakening and you get the right energy of people that support you, then they can help you and say, and when you start to doubt it, remind you, oh, this is just your subconscious mind. What did you feel that first moment? Yeah, and then you can come back to it. And I tell people you got to write it down, because if you don't, you're going to forget what happens. The subconscious mind will come in there and tell you and help you get confused. Not help you, make you get confused. Like if you've ever wanted to do something, then you're like, what was I wanting to do? Or I had it so clear the other day when I was meditating, but now because that subconscious mind comes in, the programming comes in and tries to keep everything the same. Your subconscious mind wants safety, security, sameness. So how do you know you're living mostly in your subconscious mind? You're always trying to stay safe. You're always trying to keep things the same. You want to be secure. Now, Archangel Gabriel's not saying go out there and live dangerously. But he's saying when you are picking it up by that thread of, oh, safety, sameness, security, you're in your subconscious mind, and that's what's holding you back. Yeah, I don't know about the miracles, Prashal, but how sweet. I love miracles. Sheila, what's your question? Nancy, do I have a dangerous soul, or am I a part of a scene of one big soul, aka God? So let me ask Archangel Gabriel. I have my own things about this again, but I always like the spirit guide to say. So Archangel Gabriel is saying that we are all one. Okay, everybody's one. We're all connected, but that explaining spiritual truth is very difficult to put into verbal words. So you do have an individualized soul in the sense of, because you're in this individualized body. But when that you become fully awake and stay there, that you will not even notice the individualized soul, that you will become awake in the oneness. So he's saying that don't fixate on whether you have it or you don't have it. Just know that everybody in a body has a soul, and that the most important part is to overcome the belief that we're individuals, because that individuals is what creates war. And now what he's saying, individual, like you are an individual in the human body, but he's saying, but like when we think of them, he's saying that if you think, oh, them, like they're doing something wrong, they aren't doing something of a high spiritual soul, or thinking or consciousness, that then you're in separation. And that separation is what creates war, distrust, doubt. Okay? When you actually are awake in your oneness, he wants me to share with you a discovery I had about 3 months ago. Because, I'm a growing, evolving spiritual being just like you, okay? But all of a sudden, it might have been 5 months ago, I don't remember exactly when, but he's saying share that with them. That I was like, I'm always teaching the manifestation laws and how to manifest the things that you desire in your life. And I'm always doing my best to apply the laws more effectively every single day. That's what spiritual growth is, okay? And I was meditating, and I came out of it, and I was going to go do my Buddhist chanting, and I was thinking about something I desired. And for a bit, my logical mind, which is my subconscious mind, kicked in and was like, well, how am I going to do that? And then all of a sudden I realized I don't need to know how to do it. I just need to, I'm one with it. I need to be in that energy if I'm one with it, and be in that energy of oneness. Hold that the desire is here already, and then it will reveal itself what I'm to do. Does that make sense to everybody? Because it was one of the things he just came in and wanted me to share with you guys. So does that help you a little on that question with about individualized soul? So, I think I answered your second question. Good for you, Prashad. That's what I say. Put it up on a post-it. Okay, Shira, she speaks. Let me ask him that about your job. So he's asking me to ask you a question, Shira, as she speaks. Do you actually really want a 9-to-5 job, or do you just think it's the only thing you can have to make money? Because he's saying that you want to open up your realm of possibilities of how you can bring in money. That in today's day, he's saying there are so many different ways to bring in money, and it doesn't necessarily always have to be a 9-to-5 job. But he's saying if you really want that 9-to-5 job, he'll answer that question. But he wants you to actually answer that. Do you really want a 9-to-5 job? Or is that just what you think you can do to earn money? Because he's saying that as you go into this new year, you want to prepare your consciousness to believe that there is something different than what you have if you're not feeling joy and love and inner peace as you do these things. He's coming and he's saying that. So to everybody, okay? Whether you've asked this question that she asked or not. Okay, so you don't want one, but you're in lack without a job because you didn't work for almost 5 years and you don't want to be homeless again. Okay, so let's come back. I'm going to ask him. Okay, I want to ask him. Well, what he's saying is he wants you to start going to your job with the intent that you're going to have a fabulous day. Okay? He wants you to start going with that intent. No matter what shows up, he wants you to go with that intent that I am grateful for this job because it's paying my bills, and I'm going to have a fabulous day. Now, that being said, he's saying as you go to that job, he also wants you to be open to Archangel, his help. Okay, remember he said the flying horse here. Don't think you're in this alone. You know, when you actually look for support, you can find it. So he's saying to go there with that idea, that intention. Every day you get up and saying, I'm grateful for this job. It pays all my bills. I'm going to have a fabulous day. And he says, and you go there, and I'm going to be open to the idea that money can come from other ways. And he says, be open and pay attention. Spirit will come and speak to you giving you other ideas of possibilities of ways you can earn money and manifest it. Is that making sense? She speaks. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, let's hear. So a little on your Archangel Gabriel is answering the question about if you die, and he's saying no one ever dies. Your spirit lives on forever. Are you going to be little the way little is right now? He's saying no. Like it won't, you're not going to be the exact little you are now when you leave this body, but you're never going to die. Okay? Now, that being said, he's saying little will always exist in the energy of oneness. But when little reincarnates, you will be like your perceptions, your things will still be part of a karma, but it will be different because each new life is a new energy, a new evolved stage. So is that making sense what he's saying, Lil? So you can play games on your app for money? Thanks for sharing, Lil. This is one of the things I love about community when you get people together. Can the Archangel name a thing we might come across or see as a confirmation that he's around during this time of New Year? Let me ask him, Prashal, because I don't know. Makes sense. Okay. She speaks, and I haven't answered your question yet, Prashal, but Archangel Archangel Gabriel is saying, be open to multiple forms of income. Like your money might come in through some different forms, different ways, and he wants me to share. Like in my business, I make money through individual mentoring, coaching clients, but I also make money through selling G-clays of reproductions of my spirit guide portals, where I pray and bless them so they have the blessings of the originals. I also make money off of doing people's individual spirit guide. Like everybody has their own spirit guide that's here to help them either overcome a challenge or manifest a purpose. So I make money through doing people's individualized spirit guide portals, where I create the one that's around them. I can see it and their spirit guide and create it and then tell them the blessings. So see, in my business, I have 3 forms right there. And then I've been giving the guidance to start this membership, because one of my big things that my heart's desires is to really be a blessing in the world of really helping people on their path of awakening, on helping you step into how do I apply these spiritual laws more effectively so I can create the life I love, grow spiritually, awaken my gifts. Because I was someone who, for years in my life, never saw anything visually. Someone give a guided meditation, I'd see nothing. And then when I started combining my creativity with spiritual practices, start getting visions, the spirit guides start presenting themselves to me. I was told to put on my website that I can see a person's spirit guide that's here to help them overcome a challenge or manifest a purpose. And the first time I did it, I was like, I did not even know if I could do it. And then this miraculous thing happened that made me go, oh, okay, I can do this. Now, it's really spirit doing it, the spirit guides coming through me, but I became open enough to do that. And so now they're giving me a 4th one. So they're telling me to tell you, be open to multiple streams of income. So hopefully that helps you as she speaks. So let me see this other question. Okay, Prashal, let me ask about if they're... So he's saying, well, he wants to, one, just focus on knowing that Archangel Gabriel's with you, because he is. Okay, and he's saying it as a he, not a she, because Archangel Gabriel can come in as either way, but he's actually saying a he. But he's saying that this, if you want something, he says a feather. Now, he's saying that feather can be a feather that's just a feather, but it can be a feather on a bird that you all of a sudden see, that you go, oh, that reminds me of Archangel Gabriel. So hopefully that answers your question, Prashal. Let's see, what else? All right. If I missed someone's question, please put it in again. I'll give you a few minutes. Any other last questions? This was really fun. I'm glad that Archangel Gabriel said to do this. Now, please, if you haven't done before, please subscribe. If you'd like to get on my membership wait list, please go to deepaloo.com/membership-waiting-list. Love to see you there when I launch that next year. And if anybody by chance is looking to work with a mentor coach, feel free to take advantage of my next step connection call, which is go to deepblue.com/gift. This is for people who, I don't bring the spirit guides in, but we talk about the challenge you're having or the purpose you want to manifest, and I educate and teach you a little bit, and I coach you some in there. In my mentoring programs, the spirit guide always comes, but the connection call, it's just about, are you ready? Are you a fit? Because I'm of the mindset that I only want to work with people individually who are actually ready to make change, ready to manifest something different in their life. So feel free to check that out too. Okay, so, new comment. Let me check to see what this new one is. No, I haven't. It's the spirit guides, whatever shows up for me, I'll be meditating and the spirit guide will drop into my vision, and then they come in telling me why they want me to create them into a portal. And it's all about helping you, with those blessings and helping you have that higher consciousness, because the spirit guides are here to help speed up our transformation, help us come from that higher consciousness place, because we can get stuck, because we all have a blind spot, which is ourselves. We can't see ourselves that well. It's why mentoring and coaching or being in community can be so helpful. The great thing about community is the synergy effect. When you go and you combine your energies with other like-minded people where they have like-minded aspirations, it can have an exponential effect. I mean, it just really does. The first time I ever did an 8-hour meditation was in a group meditation with about 50 people. And I didn't know if I could get through the 8 hours, and I was able to do it, and I was on a spiritual high for a month. Nothing bothered me. Everything felt great, So that was the thing about synergy. Great. All right. Thank you. Unless there's another question, if you got a question, put it up now. Otherwise, I'm going to be signing off in the next couple minutes. Thank you so much for everything. I love doing this with you guys. I'm going to tune in to ask if the spirit guide is done. I will not be doing, next week is Christmas on Thursday, and the week after that, I think it's the 1st on Thursday. So we won't be connecting till actually 2026. So I hope that you actually do what Archangel Gabriel said, and you actually prepare yourself now so your 2026 can be better than 2025. Well, thank you, Prashal. And again, have a miraculous holidays and a new year, and I will be back in 2026, either finishing up Archangel Gabriel the Flying Horse, if they tell me they still have more to work on. I always tune in and then they tell me they're done, or I still have some more to work on. So, or we may be starting a new one. All right. Blessings to all.